How y'all doing today? Here doing Behind the Art with my man Greg here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, what up?
Man, I appreciate you doing this with me.
Of course, man. Thanks for putting it together.
Oh, not a problem. Trust me, this is. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it.
I know. I saw you getting in your zone, setting up. I was like, this reminds me of me when I'm setting up the art stage to start, you get all excited. I love that.
So, for the people that don't know, what brings you out to Pittsburgh?
So there's an art festival, June, I think it was, June 4th to the 14th. And so Mike flew me out here, the GM here at Burn, flew me out to do some live paintings and pop-up exhibitions. And I was only supposed to come for a week, but everything started going really well, and so I'm here for another week. So far it's been great.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Pittsburgh's an awesome city. First time here. First time.
I mean, I'm new to the city, about 3 weeks in now too. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
So I mean, as you said, this is a beautiful city. Like I just gone around, walking around at night, just exploring, and it's just I keep falling in love every night, and it's like, when's that bubble gonna pop? But it feels like it's never gonna pop. So
I hope it doesn't. It's a cool city. I think it's a really seems to. It's not. It's weird because I wouldn't say it's up and coming, but it feels like a hidden gem.
yeah,
It's like there's such a strong community, and it's like you get to know the people. Everyone's cool, kind. It's not like some of the other bigger cities. It's got these little hidden secret views that you can go to. Like we hit 100 views the first night we were here. Mike took me around. And we're just taking a bunch of pictures. It's really beautiful.
no, I mean this place is absolutely gorgeous. Trust me, I've been doing the same on my own. Like it's just been crazy. So we're here at the Rocky Patel Burn Lounge. This is a public venue, so we have no control of the music, and they allowed us to film here. So thank you guys for that. Appreciate that. And first and foremost, so you mentioned Mike.
Yeah.
Who is Mike to you?
Mike's big bro. I've known Mike for the vast majority of my life. I think he was there when his family and my family grew up together in Boca Raton, and we're very close. From his father to my grandfather, we're friends, and then we kept the connection through the time. And he called me and said, "Dude, we got this art festival coming up. If you want, come up to Pittsburgh, do some events here at Burn, and check it out." And so I pushed off a few of my projects that I had back at home and just jumped on the flight, came on. The next day, I think it was. So I'm here.
Man, since you've been here, you've made some incredible pieces. Like some of the things that I wish I had bigger bank pockets so I could buy some pieces. But
I'll hook you up.
we have a couple. They're sitting up behind. You can see from up here.
Yeah.
But what got you into this? What got you to be creative? Like, what inspired you to start?
I think, well, it depends, right? Because there's like two parts. When you're a kid, right, and you love to draw, that was always the first. I just never stopped drawing since you're a kid and you're coloring and stuff like that. So it was always that. And as I got older through high school, I just kept doing it, doodling, drawing, until I moved to Greece. And that was when I really started to consider the possibilities of taking it on as a career. And so it really started in Greece. Back in 2008, I moved to Greece to study under the monks in this monastery of St. Nicholas. And then from there, it became a thing.
That actually hits my heart a little bit because it took me going overseas to become an artist. So, I've always been into film and stuff like that, and I was always just, on the other side. I love to watch movies. I used to critique movies and all that stuff. And then, 99, we moved over to England, and shortly after that, grandfather passed, and he left me a camera,
No kidding.
and that's how I got into photography, and it just blossomed from there. Living in England and taking
That's pretty
pictures.
wild.
So
How old were you then?
I was, I don't know, 8th grade going into 9th grade.
Gotcha. So that's how the photography started.
Yeah,
Isn't that funny how it all starts? It's like it's the smallest little things. It's one little thing. I remember it was because my brother Mark, who's older than I am, he got a pack of coloring, like one of those books that open. There's like all those like layers of crayons and markers and pencils, but there's like pages of them.
Yeah.
You remember those? You
Yeah.
get them at like art stores. Anyways, he got one of those for like his 6th or 7th birthday, and I remember the excitement on his face. And how excited he was, and he was big bro. So as soon as I saw him excited, I got excited, and then we ran into the room. We just started coloring, and I remember that being like the first experience I had. That was like, wow, we can color anything. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I think that really sparked something that has never stopped. Like, what can I create now? You know,
That's actually pretty dope.
it's wild.
So, in your adventures, what has been probably the most exciting thing that's you've come across in your artistic world?
Any one thing in particular, I don't know. I think the exciting thing is to wake up every day with that challenge, knowing that you have to outperform your prior self.
Yeah.
And if you slow down,
Yep.
you know, you go down the wrong side of the river. You know, I think that, you know, I don't know if there's any one particular moment that was like, this is so exciting. It's kind of like every day you got that little gist of excitement that's like, oh shit, like we're really in this bitch. Like we're in this for real. We got to make moves today. And then you do the best that you can every single day. And that usually will bring with it all kinds of excitement. You know, like just jumping on a plane and going somewhere without really knowing what's to come of it, you know? And then you just figure it out when you're there. And then you're running around and you're meeting new people and getting new opportunities. And like, oh, I want to fly you out to my, you know, we're going on, you know, some, you know, expensive, fancy fucking vacation. And we wonder if you wanted to come and do like a painting of like whatever. The most random things just come up. And I think just to having that freedom to say, yeah, let's do it. That's exciting, I think.
No, that's where it's at. So I got a funny story for you.
Let's hear it.
So I had a restaurant. It was the three of us, me and my boys. It's mainly their thing. I was their third backup partner. Helped them out, make sure they got everything going. So we're sitting there one day in the restaurant, and it's slow. The guy comes in and he's upset. And he works for the Chicago paper. So he was there to take pictures and write an article about the Chicago Bulls and Thunder scrimmage game. And he didn't have his camera.
Oh,
So he
Yeah,
hits
like-
me up. He's like, oh man, you know where I could get a camera? I was like, I got a camera. It's like, can I borrow it? I was like, no. I was like, I mean, you're cool, but I don't know you like
I don't know
that.
you
Like,
like that, bro. I'm not gonna give you my fucking camera.
he's like, so if I get you a press pass, can you get off and go to the game? I'm like, yeah.
No shit.
So I got to sit and
Wow.
be courtside as, you know, one of the people that sits like right
That's
underneath the
nuts.
basket
Wow. Who was
taking
playing?
pictures. It was Chicago and Oklahoma Thunder.
Basketball.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it was a scrimmage game. It wasn't like,
No, but still, you're on
Yeah.
the court. You're watching these gigantic athletes above you, like slamming.
yeah.
You know, it's fun. I remember I was on the basketball court once when the Heat were playing the Lakers, and I was able to go down to the court while Kobe and Shaq were warming up. And I'll never forget two things happened that day. One is I realized how fucking massive Shaq is. Like in person, he's this guy's a monster, bro. You've never seen anything this big in your life. And second, this is gonna sound strange, but especially now because God rest Kobe's soul, it was a strange feeling because he just made eye contact with me. He just looked at me, and it wasn't like a glance. It's like he stopped and he stared at me for a second, like a solid split second, and it was, bro, I'm telling you, it was fucking weird. Like I had this feeling, and I was like, man, that Mamba mentality thing, there might be something to it. Because when I looked into his eyes, because I was like, there was something about the guy, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like it was a fierce fucking look, and I don't even know why he would look at me. I was just a kid standing on the sideline, you know. And then that was it, and I just never forget that feeling. It's pretty wild. But yeah, my point is, when you're on the court, you get to see everything in like life size. And it's huge.
Yeah, and you like the court looks smaller, the people look bigger. And that's
exactly.
what people don't realize until you get down there.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, this is not a big court.
Yeah.
Then you look at the people and it's like, what is going on?
And like Shaq literally has to jump this big to dunk, like this high. It's nuts.
Well, I had Derrick Rose playing, and like you look at Derrick Rose on TV and you're like, he's short.
Yeah, he's not short.
He's not short at all.
It's like he's 6'6", 6'5".
Yeah.
But he's a freak of nature. But we digress. Basketball.
So that's much of my sports knowledge.
The only sports I know is Michael Jordan. That's about it. It's embarrassing. But that was when I stopped following sports. Yeah.
So you did several pieces here.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to do the pieces that you did here?
The first piece we did at Pittsburgh was the idea of coming here to do a piece. I really wanted to come to this new city, explore it, ask 1,000 questions, and put together a compilation of all the different key players in this city, from Art Rooney to Crosby, and then all the Clemente, all of the sports figures that really helped shape and mold the culture around here. Got that information, and then I put together all of these things, even Turner Tea and Iron City Cigars, putting all of these monumental Pittsburgh names and figures together to create like an overall story of the city. And that's the first piece I did. The second piece was so once I started doing the research, I'm like, who was Rooney? All right, Rooney. I was fascinated by the guy, so I was like, he needs his own piece. So the next day, I just did a painting of Art Rooney, which sold to this gentleman right here. And then the next day was Mac Miller. I did a Mac Miller piece the following night, for obvious reasons, you know. And then that piece sold that night, so that was great. And then the last night, I did the Scarface one, just because it's a cigar lounge, and I figured that's an appropriate piece to do while he's sitting there, Tony, smoking a cigar with, the vintage poster backgrounds to give it that kind of old, authentic cigar vibe. So,
I love how you have the fade in there and just. I mean, I love all the pieces, man. I can't get enough.
Thank you, bro. It's fun. So we're going to do one more piece live on Friday. I can't tell you what it is, but it's one of the most epic plays in Pittsburgh history, and I'm sure any Pittsburgh fan out there would know exactly which one it is as soon as they see it. So that'll come Friday.
That's dope. So, tell me where it's like where you're from. How's the art scene out there? Like
in Boca Raton or like Miami?
Or either one.
So Boca doesn't have very much of an art scene. Miami obviously does. So the reason I'm in Boca is it's right between West Palm Beach and Miami. Not exactly, but it's close. It's 30 minutes to West Palm, 45 minutes pretty much to Miami. And in between are all these other smaller cities that are just way bigger into art. So it's nice for me to be able to do my live paintings on tour pretty much from West Palm to Miami. Have a lot of consistent work there. And just building and developing my name and my brand in that kind of tri-county area. That's what keeps me there. But then I love, of course, jumping on a plane, coming to Pittsburgh or New York or LA, Chicago. So, but Boca, where I'm from, where my studio is, it's chill. It's quiet, which I like.
Give you a call in a minute, brother. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Like I said, this is a public venue, so we have a lot of people. I just talked to him about doing some headshots, so hopefully he'll give me a call and we'll get that stuff worked out. And this is a cool venue. Trust me. This place is like, the city feels like came to your new family, and here it's more like your close relatives. Like it's just I can't talk enough about this city.
It is great. It's a hidden gem for sure.
Hidden gem is actually the perfect way to describe this. I was thinking that the first time you said it, I was like, man, I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
Yeah, it's really something. It has its own aura. I love how it's kind of engulfed in nature. You can go anywhere. There's just trees everywhere, mountains, the city of bridges. There's something 400 plus bridges in the city. Beautiful. I mean, it's the steel. It's known for its steel. I learned that. Andrew Carnegie came here and opened up his steel mill.
Yeah.
He was one of the great American titans during the Industrial Revolution, which is cool. Heinz Ketchup was founded here, which is neat. You see the old factory. You see the old factory?
I have not seen the
It's
old factory.
It looks like it's 1,000 years old. It's like a gigantic brick castle. Just a little rundown, but it's. What else they got here? Wiz Khalifa. But yeah,
I mean,
Andy Warhol. Can't forget Andy Warhol.
I mean, this city's just filled with talent,
Yeah.
and like, I don't know, it's just gets a little overwhelming sometimes. But at the same time, it's like you said before, you wake up and it's like, okay, now I got to push myself harder because I'm in this city and
Yeah.
you got to do something impressive. So
Yeah, yeah.
So, I know you've already told me this story, but I got to hear it again because it was a great story. So, what got you into cigars?
Well, which story did I tell you? So yeah, I mean, cigars was a thing. It's been in my family as far as I can remember. But really, it was growing up as a kid. We would be outside, pool parties, birthday parties. My parents had 12 children, so there was always somebody's birthday party. We're always having cousins over, and with 12 siblings, and each of them have their friends over. There was always kind of a party at the house. It always seemed to be a party. Even though it was just like a family dinner, right? And so we'd be outside in the pool, running around, riding bikes, playing sports, and like the fathers, the parents, the guys would be outside by the barbecue, drinking their scotch, smoking cigars. And they were always laughing and having a good time. And so I always just associated cigars with good times. And that's all I could think of when I thought of cigars. And I'd smell the smell, and it reminded me of my father and my uncles having a blast together. So then I'd when they'd go in for dinner or whatever, I'd stay back and I'd steal them. And I'd take them to my tree house. And me and my brothers, we would smoke them later on that night or something. And then I had developed this real liking towards them. And so I started smoking them in high school, senior year. Junior is when I first tried them. And then senior year, I was an avid cigar smoker. And after that, I got a job managing a cigar and wine lounge right out of high school. And that was pretty cool. That was actually my favorite job I probably ever had, to be honest with you. After art, but as far as a quote unquote career, I really loved and enjoyed managing that cigar lounge. I think I smoked all the inventory though. I was smoking 5 cigars a day, 19 years old. I bought a Cadillac. I got to wear a suit I was listening to Frank Sinatra every day. I was in my own little world. I thought I was
You got to wake up and just feel clean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was before art was ever considered. I didn't think you could make a career as an artist at that point. Out of high school, I was it was a question, but I couldn't fathom the idea of being a professional artist because I'd never met one. I didn't know of any. It's not like you heard of any. And every time you talk to someone about being an artist, at that time, that was before social media too, really. So it was how are you going to make a living as an artist? That was the big thing.
Why is that always the number one question? When I just don't get, because I ran into the same problems with photography and all that. I seen National Geographic and famous photos and stuff, but you never met a photographer, or if you did, it was the person taking your class picture.
Right.
So I mean, when I first got started, I was just okay, this is fun for me.
Yeah.
This is a stress reliever. I'm going to do this, and then I never forget the day. It was one summer evening. I moved to. I left England. I was in Wichita, Kansas. I'm sitting there, and I just bought this cheap digital camera because I want something to play with. So I sit there, and my boy and all his families over there, and we were neighbors, so we were all hanging out. And his daughter is reaching for me, and I happen to take a picture of her, and like she's reaching, but like she holds up the peace sign, and it comes like this dope picture and all this stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I captured that. I show it to him. He's like, dude, I need you to blow this up. I need to put this on my wall. Like, this is so dope. Why aren't you doing this professionally? I'm like, professionally? Like National Geographic? Like, what do I?
What does that mean professionally?
He's like, no, you need to be taking pictures seriously. And like, from there, shout out to Angelo. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know those things that are really gonna inspire you. And I don't think that the people that ever inspire you ever really know that they're gonna do it either. It's like they'll just say something that they feel in their gut at the moment, and it can make all the difference in the world. You know, I've had a few of those when it was like during the dark and hard times, and you're thinking, how is this ever gonna work? And what's the point? Is this ever gonna, am I ever gonna catch a break? And then somebody says one thing, you're like, okay, it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's amazing lifestyle. It's amazing world. Like, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, it's in my DNA now. Like,
yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. We all should be pursuing something creative. I think it's in each of us, in that it's one of those things that you have to work on and you have to practice. You have to really commit to it. That whole saying of, would you do it if you didn't get paid? If the answer isn't yes, then I really don't. I don't know if it's something worth pursuing, because you really gotta love it if you're gonna ever make something out of it. It has to be something that you would do every day for the rest of your life if you would never make $1 from it. If you could accept doing that, then I think that you have what it takes to do it. Because the love is really what matters. That passion inside you that gets you going. If that's there, I would imagine it's going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, to ever make something worthwhile out of your craft. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I mean, I 100% agree with you. I mean, photography, I did it professionally for 4 years, and it was my only job. And I walked away from it. Not, how can I say that? I walked away from the business side of it to make sure my financials were fine and all that stuff. I never gave up the camera.
Yeah.
Like, it just turned to like, hey man, how much you pay for this gig? I'm not doing it professionally no more, so like, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. And, everybody likes to be paid for their services, because
Of course, yeah.
the one thing about it is, when you're doing something for somebody, you should be compensated. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not, and it's one of those things where you always hate charging somebody. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to charge you, but I should.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I feel that. There's definitely been times when I was not paid at all, and when I was paid minimal, if anything. But it's you always realize that whatever good you do, there is always a reaction to that good, and it always seems to come back tenfold for the things that you do. Like, I've hooked people up that I'd never heard from again, that I thought, well, that was a wash. But then they would have a friend, or let's say a friend would be at their house and they would see something, they'd ask, and it would be a referral or something that you did for free or for charity, and you thought, it's whatever, it's all for a good cause, and something greater comes from it. And you just really never know. But I think a lot of it's just planting those seeds and just doing what you love, doing what you're good at, and eventually you'll get to a point where you have a back order and you can't fulfill all your projects and jobs. That's because you're always just dishing out. It's like planting seeds,
yep,
and then you water the garden, before you know it, you have
more tomatoes to deal with.
exactly a harvest.
So that actually brought me to one of my last and most important questions.
Okay.
So for the people that see this and the people that are watching, um, how's the best way to get a hold of you? How's the best way to find your art? Where's the best way to?
On Instagram at gstackus or thedopegallery.com. The D-O-P-E gallery.com. And that's where I have my prints and some originals. And we're working on a new augmented reality exhibition that will be available on the site.
That's awesome.
We're doing virtual, augmented, and crypto art now, which is also super exciting. NFTs we're getting into, which is the new wave. I'm super excited. Been doing digital art for a long time.
Definitely gonna have a little deeper conversation after this, because I got real big into augmented reality back in the day, and then it kind of we'll come back to that.
Come back. We'll do another segment on augmented reality. Stay tuned for that one. All right.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate the whole setup. Love that.
All right, we got to fly. There you go. We got Jesse at dinner.
Oh, that's right.
I got a date tonight, man. Don't
Big
fuck it
day
up.
tonight.